What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to get into the CFL. Unfortunately, we just have a lot of bad news when it comes to the CFL today. If it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. And remember, leave me comments down in the comment section. You know how I love to interact with you guys. You know how I love to just keep the conversation going down in the comments. So definitely leave me comments down in the comment section. Now today, it's just sad for the CFL. Right now, the CFL is just kind of fumbling around and trying to figure out what they can do to really just stay alive amid just all that's been going on and everything that is going on. And in all honesty, I'm just going to tell you that I don't know. I don't get it. And trying to learn, trying to figure things out. But the CFL is a very interesting entity. It is kind of this staple around around Canada and Canadians, and it's kind of one of those things that is just kind of embedded in the culture there. And so it's almost like the CFL, even though it's kind of its own entity thing, is kind of viewed very much as a public thing. The other thing is that the CFL has been bailed out many of times by many different entities. And, and really just seems like that's kind of a reoccurring thing that has happened over, the years and the course of things. So it doesn't really seem like, that this is really that big of a deal because the CFL has pretty much survived. Now, not what's going on right now, but, financial disaster in the past. So that's nothing new. So with them going and asking for money, asking for $30 million from the Canadian government, up to $150 million is, a big, it's a big deal. It's a big ask, but it's not anything that, you wouldn't expect to see from them. The reality of it is that, it looks like they lost somewhere between $10 to $20 million on last season. And it doesn't look like they're going to be making that up. And right now, with everything that's been going on, that they're just seem to continue to lose money. So what they did is they put a proposal together to the Canadian government. And pretty much the Canadian government put out there like a $500 million bill to, it's mainly like to, help the arts and things like that throughout this time, entertainment, that type of thing. And so, the CFL is kind of trying to get in and try to get some of that money. So they put it together, and Ambrosie, the commissioner, he just hasn't really put things together very well and hasn't articulated it very well. And the way that, again, like I said, I don't really understand it. I'm American. I'm a United States citizen. I understand, American politics. I mean, well, granted, who knows? Could anybody really understand American politics? But I get American politics. I don't really understand how Canadian, policy and everything like that's all set up and everything with that. But the kind of the gist of everything is that this, like I said, the CFL is kind of looked as, whereas the NFL is just kind of, football is America's pastime, this and that, but they're their own entity. They stand alone. They do their thing, and that's that. Whereas the CFL is kind of embedded in the Canadian culture there. And the idea is that, this is a Canadian kind of institute type of a deal, even though they're their own entity, but it's really about, coming together as a community around Canadian football. And so with that, with Ambrosie, with Randy Ambrosie, the commissioner, putting the proposal and doing things the way he did and put it together the way he did, it didn't really turn out very well for him. When he went before, their form of government, the biggest thing is what do the players have to say? Where are the players in all of this? Where's the Players Association in that with it? And actually, it came out that it's Solomon, and I apologize. Again, you guys know I'm terrible with names. Solomon Elliman, he is the right now he's the president of the Players Association, the CFL Players Association. And, he said that, he never came to him, the commissioner never came to him for anything with putting this proposal together, never came to with anything with that, to where, right now with this thing, it's really showing that, the Canadian government is really looking at this as, listen, you guys need to get this together. You guys are a unit together, and you haven't really discussed this as a group and how you're going to, look at this as a group. The other thing for me, I think that this is really good. It's really showing that, they're not necessarily, as the government, concerned about the entity. They're really concerned about the players and the well-being of the players and the workers and that type of a thing, and not necessarily, holding up this, this league, this institution in that with it, and, in this business. And it's really more about, what's going on with the people. How are we handling the people? How are we going to do this as a public? If we are putting public money here, how are we doing that? It makes sense to me. And I actually think that it's a really good thing to where, I feel like the CFL, especially the commissioner, Ambrosie, really needs to go back to the drawing board, get with the Players Association, and put something together. And in the proposal, the other thing is that when you look at the stuff that he's proposed, it's like he's viewing it as like a loan, but that they're really not going to pay anything back. So it's really not a loan. But the idea is that they're going to do in-kind services to the public. So they're going to make public appearances. They're going to have events for the public. They're going to go and the players are going to do this, or they're going to have stadium events, this and that with the players and the stuff. So they're going to do these things for free, to make up for this money and that they would be getting. And again, he's asked for $30 million because of what's been going on right now, and then $150 million if they don't have the season. And right now, it's been out there, and that all the information's showing that right now it doesn't look like that the CFL is even going to have a season. And so that's kind of the next thing. So it's like this thing just gets layered, and we just keep adding and more on top of things. So, as I'm looking at it and that with it, let's take the whole thing of them starting the season late. I think that they can go through, they can do that. It would be all right. Them not having a season, that's huge. I mean, as I'm looking and reading from all of these Canadian media outlets and kind of sports outlets and things, they're wondering if the CFL could even survive not having the season. And, we've talked about the thing with the fans before. Remember, they get about 60% of their revenue comes from, the fans in the stands, gates, the, game day sales and things of that nature. Whereas, they don't have big TV deals. They don't have lucrative TV deals. And, a lot of that other things that a lot of the bigger leagues do, that make up a little bit more of their revenue. Whereas the CFL really can't just have a season without fans and really, be able to even break even, let alone, I don't know, to where it's looking more and more for them that if they can't have fans and they can't figure out a way to do it that way, that they really can't pull off a season, which puts a lot of things at jeopardy and puts a lot of different things, on the people. And again, for that, they're asking for $150 million. And again, it goes back to the thing, which I think is a good ask by the government. What do the Players Association think about all this? Have you talked with them? Have you put anything together with them? And it looks like they haven't. But then again, I will say, when it comes to, the government putting things out like this, that you have to put things, you have to put a proposal together, right away. You have to do things, but also you have to do it a smart way. And that to where I think that I understand that you have to put it together quick. The money's there, and once it gets gobbled up, it's gone. So you have to get in there fast. You have to get your stuff in there, but also too, I think that just because of that doesn't mean that you don't cover all your bases and do it properly and do it right. And I think that properly and right was to make this a joint thing and show it as a community thing. Again, like I said, the CFL is viewed in Canada as one of these. Again, it's like in this institution, this kind of community thing. Canadian football. It's a Canadian thing. They rally around it in that, and not presenting it that way in doing that, as you know, this is a collective of the CFL community and not necessarily just the CFL entity as itself coming to it. I think that's a big deal with it, and so we'll see what happens with it. I mean, you read things back and forth. A lot of it says that they'll probably end up getting money. They'll just have to go through some of these formalities and all this and that. We'll see what they end up doing or not doing. But right now, it's not looking good for the CFL. Looks like they're probably going to have to cancel their season and not be playing their season. And what does that mean for them in the future? I don't know. It really seems like that the CFL is on shaky ground, but they've been on shaky ground in the past. And we'll just see what happens. Like I said, I'm new to this whole game, so I really don't have a lot of information. I'm learning it as I go, trying to figure things out and seeing where it goes. But it's interesting. This isn't. You could tell that the CFL has been here before and that they've been bailed out before by the way that people are writing about it and the way that people are talking about it. It's just kind of. This is the next one. Whereas, with other leagues and other things that we're talking about, this is unprecedented with them. Whereas with the CFL, this is kind of, the next bailout, so to say. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep our eye on it, as things go about. I wanted to talk about, Nathan Rourke, the quarterback, the Canadian quarterback that everybody's excited about, that's looking to be the next Canadian football quarterback star. We will get into him in an upcoming video because I think that it's a really neat and really cool thing. But unfortunately, we've got some bad news for the CFL we had to cover today. So those are my thoughts. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about the CFL. Let me know what I've got wrong, please. Those of you who follow the CFL, you have more information. Give me more information. I always love that. I always love it when you guys, bring information to the table and, teach me things and enlighten me on things. You guys are an awesome community, and I really do appreciate you. All right, that's pretty much it. So let me know down in the comment section, and stay safe out there and keep up the hope. Have a good night. Bye.